Greetings, everyone. This is Elle. I would like to say that I now have time to answer your questions from the earlier Q&A. The Kidder case is going slowly, and I have nothing more to do. So please enjoy the Elle open-ended YouTube Q&A.
Now for my first question. It's from Sonic the Pigman. His first question is, where do babies come from? Well, that's very simple. You see... I wasn't expecting a question like that. Next question. Why do people say that the Star Wars The Clone Wars movie was terrible, but the show was sensational? Very well, I have an easy conclusion to this. Could it be that people don't have to pay to see the show, so that they don't mind that it's not as good? Also, movies have to set a higher standard than television shows. But that's just a guess. Thank you for your questions. My next two questions are from Scotty the Hedgehog, aka SB Fulmer. His first question is, Elle, what's your favorite color? Well, I can honestly say that I do not have a favorite color, for I don't care for them. I guess white would be my favorite color, cause it's not a color. You understand what I mean? And his second question is, what anime do you watch besides Death Note? Well, I watch any anime that allow me to think, such as Code Geass, Lelouch the Rebellion, and Code Geass R2. There are other shows that make me think as well, but there are so many that I couldn't name them all. I would have to say I enjoy mech anime, because the machines are interesting, such as Gundam and Eureka 7. Thank you for your questions.
King Master Reviewer asks, should there be a Sonic Heroes 2? Well, personally, I liked the first Sonic Heroes, although it did have its share of problems. But should there be a sequel? Well, I don't know. I wouldn't know how it would go compared to the first one. But if they could make it work, I say by all means there should be a Sonic Heroes 2. Although I don't think I have much time to play it with the Kidder case. But it should be fun. So if they make Sonic Heroes 2, I would love it. Thank you for your question.
Okay, now XDeathFanX asks, if you could use the Death Note, which historical figure would you kill? Well, as you should know, I don't use the Death Note. I'm not a bad person, so I wouldn't use it on anybody. But if I had to, I guess I'd use it on a world leader who's a threat to any nation. And the second question is, if you could say one thing to Captain Falcon, what would it be? Well, I know Captain Falcon is immensely popular, and has legends behind him that are greater than that of Chuck Norris. But, what would I say to him? What could I say to him? By the time I would say something to him, he'd probably get me with a Falcon Punch. Thanks for your question. Excuse me. Now, Lore101 asks, do you think Sega worked hard on the 06 game? The 06 game meaning Sonic the Hedgehog? Well, to be honest, I think the game worked quite hard to try to prove that it could do some things, but ultimately, it was rushed and didn't work out that well. Sonic is a good game, but overall it was rushed and it showed, with the story being a little incomplete, the graphics not that great, and the gameplay, well, broken. And her second question is, do you support or disagree with the fact that almost all new animated movies today are not animated at all, but are in 3D computer graphics? Personally, I've always preferred the traditional handwritten thing, but I know that CG is the way of the future because it's cheaper and easier. But, I don't know, I guess it's how technology advances, and we all have to adapt to it. Sort of like how I have to adapt to Kidder's changing tactics. Thanks for your questions. Now, Smooth28 asks, what's your real name? I can't tell you my real name. You're probably Kidda. In fact, that's a question Kidda would ask. I will not answer it. I refuse to answer it. If you are Kidda, Smooth28, well, beware. I'm on to you. And his second question is, why do you sit so funky? Well, I sit in this bizarre posture because it increases my reasonability 40%. If I didn't, I wouldn't be able to get through the Kidder case. Impersonator 258 asks, which fanbase do you hate the most? I know that this question is targeted towards one specific fanbase, but I'm gonna tell you, there are two fanbases I do not like. One of them is Naruto, and the other one is Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I like both of these series, although I don't like Naruto anymore. But the beginning series I felt was pretty good. So, I think the Naruto fans are a little too biased, and the Sonic the Hedgehog fans are a little insane. And the second question is, what do you think of the Disney Channel? Strange question. But to be honest, I do feel that while it has some good shows, and I have to admit, Wizards of Waverly Place isn't that bad, overall, I think their quality of humor is far below the standard I set for them. So overall, I am disappointed with the Disney Channel. Maybe it was better in the 90s. Thanks. Yonazo asks, why do you share a taste in Japanese music, but not the same over English music? Well, I can say that because, although I feel some songs in English are good, Japanese music is more meaningful, and the lyrics actually send a message across with their songs. But here, in English, it seems that the songs are all about just getting ass or getting high, and personally, that's not what I go for. And his second question is, throughout life, I've had many hard obstacles. What's the problem that you've had within your own life? Well, I've faced many problems, especially with losing people. That's one of the hardest things to deal with. Because when you lose somebody, it's something that you have to cherish that you had. And that's one thing that, when you look back on, you'll always remember it. So losing people in my life has been a little too frequent, but very powerful on me. Thank you. Fatman Dream says, what do you think of Lelouch from Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion? What do I think of Lelouch? I think the guy's awesome. First off, he has great hair. Not to mention he's also keen mind, which I like. And, you know, he's a little pale, sort of like me. So I think he's pretty cool. His morals are set on justice, though, which I cannot bear. Those morals are wrong. Justice has to be handled without killing. But overall, I have to admit that Lelouch is a cool character, and I guess he's a bit like me. And also a bit like Kira. Thank you. Inutown asks, what is your favorite Sega game for the Nintendo Wii? What is my favorite Sega game for the Nintendo Wii? Well, I have to admit, I do love a lot of Sega games. For the Wii, the list is particularly short. And I have to say that, although I think Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz is decent, and so is House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return, those are knocked off in favor of Sonic and the Secret Rings, and what I think is slightly better than that, Knight's Journey of Dreams. That game has great music and charm that really fills it up to be a great game. I recommend you at least rent this one, because it's a very powerful game. The messages get across well, and the music alone is enough to want the game. What else can I say? So Knight's Journey of Dreams is my favorite Sega game for the Nintendo Wii. Thank you.